Once upon a time, in the whimsical land of Frozendorf, there lived a daring and slightly clumsy hero named Captain Fumble. He wasn't your typical hero. He had a heart of gold, a cape that was always askew, and a knack for tripping over his own feet. However, what he lacked in grace, he made up for with an adventurous spirit. One fine morning, the townsfolk of Frozendorf woke up to a rather peculiar sight. A gigantic cheese wheel had rolled into the town square overnight. It was so colossal that it blocked the roads and caused quite a commotion. People were scratching their heads, wondering where it came from and what to do with it. Captain Fumble, with his trusty sidekick, a chatty parrot named Squawks, heard about the cheese wheel and saw this as a fantastic opportunity for an adventure. "Squawks, old pal! Let's find out the story behind this cheesy surprise," declared Captain Fumble with a determined grin. The two embarked on a quest to uncover the origins of the mammoth cheese wheel. Along the way, they encountered eccentric characters: a singing squirrel named Melody, a tap-dancing moose named Marvin, and a wise old owl who spoke in riddles. After many comical mishaps and wrong turns, Captain Fumble and Squawks stumbled upon a quaint farm nestled at the edge of Frozendorf. The farm was run by the kind-hearted farmer, Mrs. Bree, who was famous for her prized cheese-making skills.
Ahoy there, Mrs. Bree. We've come to solve the mystery of the colossal cheese wheel,
announced Captain Fumble, trying to strike a heroic pose, but tripping over a garden gnome instead.
Goodness me, we need to roll it back to the farm before it causes more chaos,
exclaimed Captain Fumble, determined to set things right. With Squawks perched on his shoulder, Captain Fumble devised a plan. They tied ropes around the cheese wheel, and with the help of Melody, Marvin, and the wise old owl, they began the journey back to the farm. But moving a gigantic cheese wheel wasn't an easy task, especially with Captain Fumble's clumsy tendencies. He tripped and tumbled, sending the cheese wheel rolling in all directions, narrowly missing buildings and causing uproarious chaos in the town. Despite the chaos, the townsfolk joined in to help, turning the cheese-rolling mayhem into a lively parade. They laughed, danced, and sang along with Melody's tunes as they guided the cheese wheel back to Mrs. Bree's farm. Finally, with a collective effort, they managed to safely return the colossal cheese wheel to Mrs. Bree's cheese-making machine. With a few adjustments, the machine was fixed, and Mrs. Bree resumed her cheese-making magic, creating delicious cheeses for the town once again. Captain Fumble, Squawks, Melody, Marvin, and the wise old owl were hailed as heroes for their teamwork and determination. The townsfolk celebrated their adventurous spirit with a grand feast, feasting on the most gigantic cheese platter Frozendorf had ever seen. As the sun set over Frozendorf, Captain Fumble and his friends sat together, sharing tales of their silly adventure, knowing that sometimes even the silliest of mishaps can lead to the most unforgettable and delightful memories. And from that day on, Frozendorf never forgot the day they had a rollicking adventure with a gigantic cheese wheel.